And that being said, we are seeing the impact this is going to have beyond Iran and West Asia as well. Here's a look at the markets this morning. Sensex loses over 2,000 points in opening trade. Nifty at a loss of over 600 points. We're given to understand markets opened with major cuts and a big fall in oil marketing companies as the day starts. So the volatility continues. We are seeing the kind of impact it's going to have on markets, not just back at home, but for the rest of the globe as well. Remember, it all has to do with the crucial oil flows through that narrow choke point that we've been talking about, the Strait of Hormuz. When it comes to India, the government sources have assured that there's enough stockpile. We're good for at least 40 to 50 days at least. And in fact, the supplies are being replenished. But when we do talk about the markets, remember, markets often are jittery. And this is the latest that we're getting. Sensex loses over 2,000 points in the opening trade. Nifty at a loss of over 600 points, and markets opening with major cuts here. So we're also seeing the big fall in oil marketing companies, this as the day starts. So what this coming week is going to hold in that regard, that is something that remains to be seen. Remember, Mujtaba Khamenei has been named the successor in Iran. So it would appear that despite the United States' efforts to have completely dismantled the regime in Iran, the hardliners are very much tightening their grip in Iran. Remember, there's been a lot of flip-flop over the stated goals of this entire conflict that we're seeing in West Asia also. But right now, it's Mujtaba Khamenei, to which Trump has then responded, saying that the new leader will not last long. Remember, earlier Trump had said that even though the actual goal may not be regime change, he does want to have a say in who will lead Iran next. And after Mujtaba Khamenei was named the successor, he is now saying that the new leader in Iran is not going to be able to last long. So what does that mean going forward? Is this some sort of an indication that this war is going to drag on going forward as well? Remember, the earlier timeline that we were given was 4 to 5 weeks. What happens now as the hardliners in Iran are very much tightening their grip? Remember, there's also internal dissent in Iran. What does that mean for the regime going forward? That's something that remains to be seen as well. For more on this, we have Pallavi with us. Pallavi, we are seeing the market jitters this morning. What can you tell us?
Well, this was again to be expected because everyone was watching out for how the markets are going to react. And, the situation of the war getting worse day by day, the fact that it's also spreading, Saudi Arabia, for example, also being affected, just goes on to show that there's a clear uncertainty and also a panic and fear and concern that this war is not going to be ending anytime soon. No attempts are being made by either side to try and ensure that the war comes down. And of course, the impact of it is going to be felt markets across the world, but in India, just as the markets have opened, it's already gone down by 2,000 points. The figures, of course, that we are getting ours is that it has lost over 2,000 points. And this is just the opening trade. We'll have to wait to see whether it stabilizes through the day. The Nifty is also losing at 600. And there have been major cuts in all the infrastructural stocks as well. But the biggest hits, as expected again, has been that of the oil companies. Now, inside the parliament, in a short while from now, the parliament session begins. And there are going to be concerns which are going to be raised by the opposition parties. Multiple notices have already been given as far as discussing the state of affairs of West Asia is concerned. Also important to know that the External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar is going to be speaking in both the houses of parliament. Will that have a calming effect on the markets? That is one that we are going to wait to see. Second, another briefing we can expect coming in from the Petroleum Ministry later in the day. Will that reassurance once again come in with a calming effect on the markets? These are just the opening trade figures. That's the word of caution which is coming in from the finance ministries. Wait for the rest of the day to follow out. But this was again something which we were expecting.
Absolutely, Pallavi. Of course, as India braces itself for the impact, we also heard Donald Trump saying that price hike, that is a small price to pay here. Do you reckon then that this is perhaps just another indication of how long this war might drag on and what impact it's going to have going forward?
But I think clearly America and Israel are bracing themselves for a long haul, which is why there are no placatory noises coming in from either side. No one is reaching out to no one. There's no mediation taking place. It's almost a fight to the finish for them. And, you know, Americans can say it's a small price to play, but India is a sensitive country. We also know, for example, elections are coming up in 5 major states. And all of these price rise will always have a rippling effect. You know, even a small rise in crude oil prices over here and petroleum and diesel prices will have a deep impact as far as the transport is concerned of essential commodities, fruits, vegetables, grains, despite the fact that they're talking about these are daily essential commodities which are transported, and given the kind of geography of India, the length and breadth, and it's a vast country, the impact of it is something which is going to be felt as far as essential commodities are concerned. We certainly are keeping ourselves from the daily riff and raff of this war. But yes, every indication certainly comes in from Israel, America, and even from Iran for that matter, that they are not in a hurry to end the war.